Customize your dashboard in Live Producer. Well, I can see me. Anybody out there having a lot of technical difficulty?
Okay, you are live, but I think you got a problem here. I had headphones attached. Let me detach them. So you'll be able to see your comments are down here.
Yeah. Hey, Denise. Denise Crawford. Hey. Denise Crawford from Bowling Green. I can't see the picture. I believe it is. Yeah. Hey, we're going. If everybody just comment, and so I can see who's coming in. Denise got Denise. There's Deborah. Thanks to Zach, we're using his laptop. I couldn't, for some reason, Facebook's changed something and won't let me use the camera on my desktop computer. So a little panic here right at the start. Let's see, I'm gonna have to go over here and scroll down so I can see who's commenting. Hey, Nancy, does my hair look okay? Just kidding. Hope if you can, if you're able, I hope everybody's able to get out and enjoy some of this wonderful sunshine coming in. You can see, I love, I love this east-facing window. Let's see. Oh, there's April. Yes, April, I am. Sorry. I know y'all used to the tall blonde, but not today. We'll let a few more come in. And just so you know, the reason I'm here is because Kara is speaking at Lacey Joyner's funeral in Hopkinsville in just a little while. So she asked me to fill in for her, and I said sure, I'll be glad to. And so remember that family, the Joiners, and morning Sharon Metcalf. If you haven't heard, we had, let's see, I'm just over 100, I think, attend live worship this past Sunday. We had more in the sanctuary in the second service that the most I've seen in a year. And let me remind you all, and I'll try to do this again as we progress, uh, Kara wants you to send prayer requests to her privately. If you want to do it privately, just remind her to do that, and or you can, and if it's okay, you can send them to me or put them in the comments if it's something that you can put in the comments that other folks in the group will see, and I'll make sure she gets those and reads them. So I'll be praying for you. Okay, let's see, Sharon. If I go silent for a few seconds, don't anybody get uncomfortable. It's just I'm not used to it. And I feel I don't have a cat or a dog with me today. I do have my son. Joe's here. He's a freshman at North, and I'm having to review algebra. And I was pretty decent at it in high school. That's been almost 40 years ago. So I'm having to relearn a little bit. be part teacher. Okay, let's get started. I want to talk today about our passage will reflect this. I want to talk today about how sometimes we're in when we're in deep trouble. Um, we don't always see God working, and I think as a young person, I always wanted to see some kind of evidence, like ongoing evidence that that God was at work. And what I have learned is that that's not always the case, and I've also learned that that's not usually the case with anyone else. And we're based on Psalm 77 today, and that's the lectionary reading for the daily lectionary reading for today at this time during Lent. And it's that Psalm 77 along with a passage from Job, which most of us know that Job suffered greatly, and First Peter, and all three of these references have to do with suffering through tough times and God's ability to get us through, and God's redemption to kind of wrap all that up. So I'm going to read. Hope I haven't forgotten anything. I'm going to read first here from Psalm 77, and I may kind of make commentary um, as I go. So bear with me. Everybody here okay? I just want to make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. Okay. All right, Psalm 77. And this is from the Message Bible because I love the dramatics that they put in here. And it's kind of divided into three sections. It's kind of like here's the problem, and then there's a rhetorical question section where the writer makes a point, and then there's kind of the answer, which is the turns into a kind of a worship time toward God. And hey Betsy, good to see your name up there. All right. Psalm 77. I yell out to my God. I yell with all my might. I yell at the top of my lungs. He listens. I found myself in trouble and went looking for my Lord. My life was an open wound that wouldn't heal. When friends said, everything will turn out all right, I didn't believe a word they said. I remembered God. I remember God and shake my head. I bow my head, then wring my hands. I'm awake all night, not a wink of sleep. I can't even say what's bothering me. I go over the days one by one. I ponder the years gone by. I strum my guitar all through the night, wondering how to get my life together. And then comes the rhetorical question. Will the Lord walk off and leave us for good? Will he never smile again? Is his love worn threadbare? Has his salvation promise burned out? Has God forgotten his manners? Has he angrily stomped off and left us? Just my luck, I said. The high God retires just the moment I need him. And then, once again, I'll go over what God has done. Lay out on the table the ancient wonders. I'll ponder all the things you've accomplished and give a long, loving look at your acts. And this is when the focus turns to God. Oh God, your way is holy. No God is great like God. You're the God who makes things happen. You showed everyone what you can do. You pulled your people out of the worst kind of trouble, rescued the children of Jacob and Joseph. And I love this because it almost personifies uh, different parts of the earth. Ocean saw you in action, God, saw you and trembled with fear. Deep ocean was scared to death. Clouds belched buckets of rain. Sky exploded with thunder. Your arrows flashed this way and that. From whirlwind came your thundering voice. Lightning exposed the world. Earth reeled and rocked. You strode right through ocean, walked straight through roaring ocean. But nobody saw you come or go. And then I think the punchline, hidden in the hands of Moses and Aaron, you led your people like a flock of sheep. I love the Psalms because they're so can be so dramatic and just wonderful stories. And as we read that, I'm sure we can all think of times in our lives when we felt abandoned or forgotten and wonder where in the world God is when we need him. Some of you may know my story, being fired from a sister church here in town. And I don't want to open any wounds, but it was during that terrible time for me and my family that I experienced much a situation like the psalm writer speaks of in that first section of the passage. First, there was the shock, and survival mode kicked in. And, when something like that happens in your life, you kind of remember. I remember where I was. I can see the room. I can see myself walking out into the rain and getting into my truck and driving home and calling Angela to tell her what had happened. Um, well, then you experience that for a while. It's just you're a little numb, and then next comes the feeling of retaliation. When you've been injured, that I think that's one of the first things we want to do. And oddly enough, the first one of the other passages for today is First Peter 3:8. It speaks strictly against retaliation. Well, then comes you deal with that for a while, and then comes the self doubt and the guilt. And I can remember saying to myself, "No more ministry for me. I'm done." And you wallow in that for a while, and then comes the blame, and the blame went to God, and that this all went on for several months, blaming God, and but then the whole time those other modes are the survival and the retaliation and the doubt. It all keeps running together in kind of one river, and then at some point things began to fall in place. And again, I did not see this happening at the time, and things began to fall in place. I love to mow grass, and so I thought, well, I can do that. So I got me a little lawn mowing business going. And then I went to real estate school for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 6-day weeks, 9 to 5 in Louisville. I stayed with two different friends up there, slept on couches and wherever we could find a place. And then we found a new and loving and nurturing church right here at FCC. And then I started using previous skills from my dad's trucking company. I've been around large vehicles all my life, and so I used that experience and some experience of driving buses in college to get a spot with our transportation department in Hopkins County, and I drove a school bus for a couple of years. And I was contacted by First Baptist Church Bowling Green, and to come be their interim music minister. So as you can see, things were falling into place, but still all those other things were going on. Again, the retaliation, the blame, and now, and I look back, and that was 8 years ago. I look back, and here I am on Facebook, leading a devotion as a staff member at FCC. Who'd have thunk it? But like the writer of the song, God's redemption may be a methodical sequence of steps. And we may never see those steps. And just like in verse 19 of Psalm 77, I didn't see God come or go for some time. And to look back on it now, it's been a great experience, and it continues to be. And I may never have another dramatic moment in my life like that, but it's amazing to look back and see what God has accomplished. So, like I say, I don't. I know we've all. It's. We can say we've all been there with something, and it may not be that life changing for you, or it may be more life changing for you. So, um, keep that psalm in mind, 77. I love the way it breaks down and it comes around to, I think that's why it's important for us to stay engaged in worship. And that's been hard this year, we all know, and to stay engaged. And I think that's why God commanded his people to meet, regular times and have festivals so that the greatness of the accomplishments of God could be remembered. And it's kind of that, that's what we do when we go to the table each week in communion. We remember what God has done. It's a reminder of where we are in relationship to God. So in closing today, I thought it also interesting that today's, if you've signed up for Kara's Lenten text references, daily scripture references, um, the one for today was from Romans 8. It's Romans 8:31. What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who could be against us? And I thought that was very appropriate. Um, Now, I want to close today. And since this psalm was in some of the translations was or written to the chief musician, or the music director, I thought it was appropriate that I might be reading our closing prayer from the hymnal. And hey, Nancy Jones, anybody else come in? Oh, they're the Edwards. Hey, Donna, Wayne, Tim Clark. Hey, Tim. And I'm gonna read. Let me read the verses, and then I'll do the refrain at the end. So this is our closing prayer for the day. It's a prayer to God. Great is your faithfulness, O God, our Father. There's no shadow of turning with you. You change not. Your compassions, they never fail. As you've been forever, you will continue to be. Summer, winter, spring, and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, they join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, your own dear presence to cheer us and guide us. You give us strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. The blessings are all mine, all ours, with 10,000 beyond. So great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, day by day, new mercies we see, and all we have ever needed, you have provided. Great is your faithfulness, Lord, unto us. Great hymn, Thomas Chisholm. So I hope that brings you some encouragement today. And again, I haven't spoken in a public forum about a lot of this today. But when I saw that passage, I thought that I relate to that, and I think most of us can. So anyway, well, that's it for today, and Kara should be back next Tuesday. Thank you all for being in here, and I don't know if there's anything else she does. I'm usually watching, but when you're trying to put something together, you kind of miss the details sometimes. But um, again, I'll remind you, those that have come in since we started. I want to remind you, just if you have prayer requests that you want to send to Kara privately, you can do that. If it's something you want to put in the comments here, um, I'll make sure she sees those. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you can, just even just for a few minutes, get out of the house, get out of your office, wherever you might be, and enjoy some of this beautiful sunshine that we're getting. If you're in the area, and I forget that on Facebook you could be anywhere in the world. So it's been great being with you today, and we will see you all soon. We hope. All right, take care.